wanted to get that sun in this shot. It's so pretty. Hello, hello, and welcome to Yoga with Carolynne. My name is Carolynne, and as always, it is such a pleasure and a privilege to have you here. I have a very special treat for you today. In honor of this channel's 1-year anniversary, today is a full-length yoga practice. This is yoga to celebrate. As always, it will be made as accessible as possible. So grab your yoga mat, a couple of blocks, and a blanket if you've got it, and get ready to enjoy this full body stretch, full body flow. Welcome to Yoga with Carolynne, teaching empaths and sensitive souls just like you how to create a collaborative relationship with your body through cozy, accessible yoga and self-care practices in order to live a life filled with less doing and more being. So we're going to be starting today's full-length Yoga to Celebrate practice in a comfortable seat. So I have got a folded up blanket underneath of my sit bones. So maybe that would be a helpful and supportive tool for you. If your knees are feeling like they would benefit from some support underneath of them, then you can place a couple of blocks underneath of your knees. So really take a moment to set yourself up so that you're not feeling like you have to fidget or anything once you're in this shape. So it's really important that the shape feels like a comfortable one. Allow your hands to rest on your lap or on your knees, and you get to choose whether the palms are face down if you need a little bit of extra added grounding for today's practice, or if you want to have the palms flipped open towards the sky. Take a moment to allow the shoulders to drop away from the ears. And then if it feels okay, bringing the eyes to a close. And let yourself arrive. Life can be sometimes very fast, very go, go, go. Very much on to the next thing, on to the next thing. Today's practice, Yoga to Celebrate, is your invitation to really give yourself permission to take time to celebrate whatever you have achieved, whatever you have navigated recently. Your yoga practice can be a really beautiful, sacred space for you to bring pause, to really, really feel the successes and all the amazing things that you have done in your own life. Celebrations don't have to be big and loud in order for them to be impactful. So allow this practice today to be your chance to celebrate anything and everything that comes into your mind, into your heart. Allow your awareness to become wrapped up in the sensation, the sounds of your breath. Your beautiful breath that has been there with you throughout every single journey, every single adventure, every failure, every success. Your helpful companion. If it would feel good and supportive for you, begin to deepen, lengthen, and expand that breath. Know that it's okay if it takes a few moments, if it takes a few breaths to really find a breath that feels right for you today in this moment. Sending that breath deeper down into the lower corners of your torso. Beginning to really take up space as you breathe, giving yourself permission to take up space. There's no playing small here, no acting small. This is your time. Please enjoy about 3 more deep breaths just like that. Once you have taken those 3 deep breaths, allow the eyes to stay closed. If the eyes are closed here, just listen to my voice. I will use lots of words to help describe the movement so you can really, really allow your awareness to stay inside. If the palms are flipped up towards the sky, flip the palms down onto the knees. That's where we'll start. On your inhale, use the hands that are on the knees to pull the heart forward, allowing the heart to shine forward and the chin to reach up towards the sky. On the exhale, starting at the base of your tailbone, finding an opposite shape. So spreading the shoulder blades wide, pressing yourself back and tucking the chin in towards the chest. A few more times like that in your seated cat-cow. Inhale as you bring yourself forward. Shine the heart, the chin reaches up. The exhale starts at the tailbone. As you tip the tailbone, spread the shoulder blades, tuck the chin in towards the chest. One more time, just like that. Bringing yourself back into center. Now let's create some circles with your torso. So leading with your inhales. Inhale as you cross the horizon with the heart. And the exhale crosses the shoulder blades towards the back of your space, creating some circles with your torso. So the circles can start really small if that would feel good for you just to start out as you ease yourself into your practice. And then after a few breaths, the movements can become bigger. And they can get a little bit more fun as you bring maybe the movement into the shoulders. You can bring some movement into the neck, maybe bringing some circles into the neck as you find that movement. And it doesn't have to be these perfect symmetrical circles. This is your chance to just explore and begin to get out of your head and into your body. So not only has your breath been part of every single experience, but your body has also been there with you. So really sense into your body and give this body of yours some love and some attention and some care. Pausing in the center and then circling in the other direction. Coming back into center, finding that length again in your spine. You're still welcome to keep those eyes closed if that would feel good, or you're also welcome to open them if that would feel good as well. So from here, you'll bring the fingertips down onto the floor beside your body. Arms are long, fingertips down. Using that contact of the fingertips on the floor to find a bit more length in your spine, really rooting down into that tailbone to rise up into the crown of the head. Bringing some movement into the arms. Take an inhale, reach the fingertips out towards the side, and the fingertips reach all the way up towards the sky. On the exhale, Bring the palms, the hands into heart center. So that's your movement. Really leading with your length of breath. So maybe your breath is a little bit longer or a little bit shorter than mine. So enjoy a few more rounds like this where the length of the breath is not the point, but the point here is to begin to really link your breath with your movement. You can bring the head into it too if that would feel good. You can allow the gaze to reach up towards the sky as the fingertips reach up. Meet with the fingertips down onto the floor. Keeping the left hand exactly where it is. Take an inhale to reach the right fingertips up. Keep the shoulders soft. And then tipping yourself over towards the left. Once you make your way there, the fingertips can stay where they are or the left palm can come down on the floor. And you're really using that left hand on the floor to press into the floor to find a bit more space. So not only are you creating space on the right side of the body, but you're also creating space on the left side of the body. So both of your sit bones are grounded here. Notice the top shoulder. Would it feel a little bit better to open that top shoulder back behind you just a bit more? Send one more breath into the right side of the body. Inhale. Exhale. And from here, bringing yourself back up and then bring the right hand down. We'll come into the shape on the other side. Right fingertips stay where they are. Inhale, reach the left hand up towards the sky. I'm mirroring you here if you're kind of wondering what's going on with the limbs. And then beginning to tip yourself over towards the right side of your space. So the fingertips of the right hand can stay where they are or the palm comes down. And then again, so same as the other side, really planting that palm down on the floor to find space on both sides of your ribs. Both sit bones are grounded, so you're not doing anything funky with reaching over. Top shoulder, would it feel good if it rolled back a little bit more? Take one more inhale. And one last exhale. Beautiful. Inhale as you bring yourself back up to center. We're finding one last movement here before we come into the next few shapes. Take an inhale to reach the hands up towards the sky. On the exhale, you're twisting towards the left. So bring the right hand on the left knee, the left fingertips behind you on the floor. Inhale, find that length in your spine. Exhale, can you sink into it a little bit more, allowing the twist to really start at the base of the spine. The head, the gaze simply follows along for the ride. Lead with your breath. Inhale as you reach the fingertips all the way back up towards the sky. And exhale as you come into your twist on the other side. Left hand behind you, or left hand on the right knee, right hand behind you on the floor. Inhale as you find that length. And exhale, you sink into your twist. One more breath here. Lead with your inhale, reach the fingertips up. And then we'll come into tabletop position. So coming onto your hands and knees. So bringing the hands in front of you and then rocking yourself forward. Or if you're not doing the most graceful transition, it doesn't matter. Don't worry about it. We'll meet in tabletop position. Once you make your way into your tabletop position, if you know that your knees would really benefit from some added cushioning, then you can place your blanket now underneath of your knees. It's always nice to have those props with you to really, really feel supported during your practice. Once you make your way into your tabletop position, spread the fingers really wide, just pressing every single knuckle of the fingers into the floor. That will help keep your wrists safe at any time that you're on your hands and your knees, or rather when you're just on your hands. On an inhale, drop the belly down towards the floor and the gaze looks forward and up. Exhale as you tip at the tailbone and then spread the shoulder blades wide, tuck the chin in towards the chest. One last time, inhale, belly down, gaze looks up towards the sky. Exhale as you tip at the tailbone, spread the shoulder blades wide, tuck the chin in towards the chest. Beautiful, come back into center. And then send yourself back into a child's pose. So this is going to be a little bit more of an active child's pose. So bringing your forehead down onto the floor. If it doesn't touch comfortably on the floor, then it's okay, just floating the head here for a moment. Keep that really active pressing into the mat with your hands. We're going to flow here, find a little bit of movement. On an inhale, you'll bring yourself up and forward to come into a low plank. So you're bringing yourself all the way forward. The feet come up away from the mat. From here, bring the belly button in towards the spine. Take an inhale. Exhale as you bend into the elbows, leading with the heart, bringing yourself all the way down. The tops of the feet press into the mat. The hands are underneath of the shoulders or just a little bit further back and hug the elbows in towards the ribs. Take an inhale to shine the heart forward, coming into a little tiny baby cobra, starting really low. Exhale as you bring yourself back down. Let's do that a few more times. Press the tops of the feet into the mat to engage into the legs. Inhale as you roll the shoulders back, shine the heart forward. You're barely using your arms here and those elbows are really hugging in. Exhale as you bring yourself back down. One more time like that. Inhale, roll the shoulders back, shine the heart forward, cobra. Exhale as you bring yourself down. Press into your hands and knees. Inhale, find your tabletop position. And exhale, press yourself back into your child's pose. So we're gonna link all those movements together. Inhale. Bring yourself up and forward, low plank. Exhale, bend at the elbows, bring yourself all the way down towards the floor. Cobra pose. Inhale, roll the shoulders back, shine the heart forward. Exhale, bring your heart down. Press into your hands and knees. Inhale, find your table. And exhale, press it back, child's pose. Let's do that one more time. Inhale, bring yourself up and forward. Low plank. Exhale, bring it down. The elbows brush against the ribs. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, down. Press into your hands and knees. Inhale, table. Exhale, press it back into your child's pose. Beautiful work. From here, pressing yourself up into your tabletop position, and we'll get ready to come into your first downward facing dog of the practice. So if you've practiced my videos before, you will know I'm a fan of the blocks. So the blocks can be a really helpful tool to come underneath of your hands with having the palms, the heel of the palms on the edges of the blocks, and your fingers are spread really wide. Curl the toes under, just straighten into the legs, send the hips up and back into your first downward facing dog. The blocks are not essential, they're just really helpful. So use those blocks or don't. Know that the props are not a crutch. They're not kind of your indicator that you're not doing things right or that you're not able to do yoga. They're just a helpful tool. Once you bring yourself into your downward facing dog, find some movement here. Pedal out into the legs, shake into the head. Allow yourself to really, really arrive. Downward facing dog is a pose where the entire body is part of the experience. So it's kind of like you've arrived. You are here, your whole body is here. If you're finding any sort of movement in your downward facing dog, please come back into stillness. And let's just do a little bit of an exercise here to explore the position of the hands and the feet. So from here, you'll take an inhale to lift the heels high, lift the hips high, and then exhale as you roll yourself forward into plank pose. So once you come into your plank pose, notice if your hips are quite high. If that's the case, walk your feet back a little bit to really find that integral plank pose. Spread the fingers really wide, so remember that connection of the knuckles of the fingers pressing into the floor. From here, lift your hips high, send yourself back into your downward facing dog. So this is where you want your hands and your feet to be in your downward facing dog, really big downward facing dog. And then from your downward facing dog, we'll meet in a forward fold at the front end of your space. So take as many steps as you need to get there. Take your time, there's really no rush here. This is yoga to celebrate, not yoga to rush through. Once you make your way into your forward fold at the front of your space, I'm going to give you a few moments here to just find what will feel good. So there's a few different ways that you can really support yourself in this shape. You can have a generous bend to the knees so that the front line of your torso is supported. You can grab your blocks to raise the floor up, placing your hands on your blocks. You can also, if the blocks are not supportive, you can bring your elbows onto your thighs, onto your knees. Allow the back of the neck to release so the head gets really heavy here. You can explore this shape with movement or stillness, maybe rocking back and forth, toes to heels. Or you can explore a little bit of a twist, maybe walking the hands over towards the right or towards the left. If you're finding any sort of movement, come back into stillness, and then we'll slowly roll up to standing. Big bend in the knees here. As you slowly roll up to standing, the head is the very last thing to come up. You can walk the hands up the front line of your legs. Once you make your way up to standing, roll the shoulders back. Open the palms towards the front of your space. Tadasana, mountain pose. Root into your feet, really press into all 5 toes and your heels. Bring some softness into the knees. Belly button in towards your spine. Length in that spine. Softness in the shoulders. And really rising the crown of the head up towards the sky. Yoga to celebrate. As we move through this flow, it's your invitation to really use this practice to celebrate whatever it is you're celebrating today. And maybe it's as simple as, I'm celebrating the fact that I showed up for this practice today. If the eyes are closed, you'll softly open up into the eyes. We're going to find some movement here. Take an inhale to reach the fingertips forward. The fingertips come all the way up towards the sky. Maybe the gaze comes up. Softness in the knees. As you exhale, lead with the heart. Bring yourself down into your forward fold. Your blocks are there to catch you if you're using the blocks. Inhale, find your half lift, your flat back. Exhale as you bring yourself down into your forward fold. Move the blocks to one side if you're using them. Bend into the knees to bring the palms down onto the floor. Step the feet back. Take your time, there's no rush. Once you make your way into your plank pose, right away bring the knees down. From here, take an inhale. Exhale as you bend into the elbows, bring yourself down onto the floor. We've done this shape already. Cobra pose, inhale, peel the heart forward and up. Exhale as you bring your heart down. Inhale, press into the hands and the knees. Then on the exhale, coming into your downward facing dog, your blocks can come with you underneath of your hands. Send those hips up and back. From here, walk the feet towards the front end of your space. Take as many steps as you need to get there. And then from here, take an inhale, find your half lift. Exhale, find your forward fold. Press into the feet. Inhale, reach the fingertips forward and all the way up towards the sky. The exhale, bring the hands into heart center. We're warming up the body here with some sun salutations. Let's do one more. Inhale, reach the fingertips forward and up. Exhale, bring it down. Worry a lot less about what this looks like and a lot more about you just flowing with your breath and your body. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, forward fold. Move the blocks to one side, plant those hands down, step the feet back, plank pose. Right away, bring the knees down. Inhale. Exhale, bend at the elbows, bring yourself down. Cobra, please. Shine the heart forward and up. Exhale, heart down. Press into hands and knees. Inhale, find your tabletop position. Curl the toes under, downward facing dog. Your blocks are still there if you want them. From your downward facing dog, step the feet towards the front end of your space. Once you make your way there, inhale, find your half lift. Exhale, find your forward fold. press into the feet. Inhale, reach the fingertips forward and come all the way up towards the sky. Exhale as you bring the hands into heart center and you pause. Feel your body, feel your heart beat. If the breath has begun to be a little bit deeper, a little bit kind of soundier, I was gonna say noisier, but maybe soundier, that's okay, feel that. It's just your body waking up here. If the eyes are closed, softly opening up into the eyes. From here, you're gonna bring the hands onto the hips. Allow yourself to really find a shape in the feet that feels grounded, feels supported. So the feet are about hip distance apart. Press into all 5 of your toes and your heel. Take an inhale here. Exhale as you bend into the knees to sink the hips down, chair pose, Utkatasana. Notice your tailbone here. So notice if you're really sticking your butt out like a cheerleader, tuck the tailbone under, really noticing what happens in the core. From here, we're gonna find some movement. You're gonna reach the fingertips up towards the sky. Take an inhale here. Exhale as you straighten into the legs. The fingertips down towards the floor and then they sweep all the way up towards the sky. Palms are facing each other. You can take a look at the screen here just to make sure that you're exploring the shape, how we're doing it. From here, you're gonna sweep the fingertips back down towards the floor. As you bend back into your knees, sink the hips down and the fingertips come all the way up towards the sky. Those palms are still facing each other. Exhale, straighten into the legs. The fingertips come down towards the floor and they sweep all the way up towards the sky. Inhale, bend back into the knees, sink the hips down, fingertips down and all the way up towards the sky. One last time, exhale. Inhale. Beautiful. From here, stay in your chair pose, bring the hands onto the hips, bring the weight into your left foot to then step the right foot back. High lunge. So that left knee is, or that left leg is bent. Take up space on your mat here. So a little bit more stabilizing, more grounding is when your feet are more kind of on train tracks than a balancing beam. Making sure that your knee is above your left ankle or a little bit behind. Notice your hips here. Is your right hip pulling back, and would it benefit from maybe pulling forward a little bit, pulling the left hip back? High lunge. This is my accessible variation of Warrior One. From here, reach the fingertips up towards the sky. Soften into the shoulders. We're going to be exploring the same movement in the arms that we just did in your chair pose. Take an inhale to reach the fingertips up. Exhale as you reach the fingertips forward and all the way back behind you. Now this is where we get fun. You're going to use a big inhale to reach the fingertips back up, like as if you're throwing confetti in the air. Inhale. Exhale. And again, inhale, throwing that confetti up in the air. Exhale. Inhale, reach it up. Exhale. Last one, inhale as you reach. And the exhale, bring the hands onto the hips. Bring the weight into that left foot to step the right foot towards the front. Chair pose one last time, inhale. Exhale as you straighten back into the legs. Pause here. You can take a sip of water if you've got some water nearby. From here, find that position of the feet that feels grounding, feels stabilizing again. Bend into the knees to sink the hips down, sink the tailbone down. So first finding this shape, the weight is in the heels. You can see your toes. And then from here, reach the fingertips up towards the sky. Soften into the shoulders. Take an inhale here. Exhale as you straighten into the legs, the fingertips come down towards the floor and they sweep all the way up towards the sky. Palms are facing each other. Inhale, Sink the hips back down, bend to the knees, fingertips down and all the way up towards the sky. Exhale, straighten into the legs, fingertips down and up. Inhale, really use those big inhales and exhales. Exhale. Last one is you inhale, bring yourself into your chair pose, the fingertips up. Bring the hands onto the hips. Bring the weight into the right foot this time, stepping that left foot back behind you. Lunge, high lunge. Find that position first before you find any sort of movement. Make sure that this shape feels grounding and feels supportive in your body. When you're ready, reach the fingertips up towards the sky. Soften the shoulders away from the ears. And we'll find that confetti throwing movement again. Take an inhale here. Exhale as you reach the fingertips forward, the heart forward, and the fingertips reach back behind you. Big inhale, inhale, reach it up. And exhale. Big inhale, reach. Exhale. Last one, inhale, reach. Exhale back. Beautiful. Inhale to meet with the fingertips reaching up towards the sky. The exhale brings the hands onto the hips. Bring the weight into that right foot to step the left foot forward, chair pose for one last inhale. And exhale, straighten into the legs. Beautiful work. You can take a sip of water again. And then from here, we'll explore a little bit of balance. So I'm just gonna turn towards you here so that we're practicing this together. So from here, your feet are still in that stabilizing and solid foundation on the floor. You'll reach the fingertips up towards the sky to bring the hands together. I know that my hands are gonna be out of the view, but your hands are gonna be together, clasping the fingers together, releasing the pointer finger and the thumb. Soften the shoulders away from the ears. Take an inhale to find a bit more length in the body. And then on the exhale, you'll begin to tip towards the left side of your space. Once you make your way there, you can bring the left hand onto the left hip just to find a bit more support, a bit more space in your body here to find that stretch. And then we're gonna play here. So bring the weight into the left foot to then pick up into the right foot and open up into the arms. So both fingertips reach up towards the sky. Flex into that right foot. To do the really advanced version, turn the corners of your mouth up. This is just yoga. We're just having fun here. We're just playing and we're just celebrating. From here, nice and slow, you'll bring that right foot back down. Bring both hands back up towards the sky. Find your hands together. Take an inhale. Exhale as you tip over towards the other side. Once you make your way there, the right hand comes onto the right hip. Find a bit more space, a bit more support here in your body. And then from here, you'll begin to bring the weight into that right foot to then pick up into the left foot. Both hands now reach up towards the sky. Get really bright and happy in the fingers. Flexing into that left foot. A lifted leg always benefits from a flexed foot. There's lots happening here in the body. We're balancing and you're using your core here to really stabilize you. So keep breathing. Maybe turning the corners of your mouth up. And then slowly bringing both feet down, both hands reach up towards the sky for one last stretch. And then from exactly where you are, you'll begin to bring yourself down into your forward fold. Facing the front end of your space. Begin to slow things down here. Take an inhale to find your half lift. Exhale to find your forward fold. From here, plant the hands down. Bend the knees as much as you need to make your way there. Step the feet back, this time in your downward facing dog. Blocks can come underneath of your hands again.
And then from here, we're going to take 3 releasing breaths. Take an inhale. Out the mouth, exhale. 2 more like that, inhale. Exhale at the mouth. Last one, inhale. Exhale at the mouth. From here, begin to bend into your legs to bring the knees down onto the floor. Bring yourself into your child's pose. You can bring your props into it here. Maybe a block comes underneath of your forehead and one underneath of your chest. Create space for your body with the position of the knees. So your knees can be as wide as is comfortable. If your tailbone, if your sit bones are not comfortably supported on your heels, you can bring a pillow underneath of your hips as well. Allowing yourself to really and truly settle into stillness for just a moment. This pause really, really symbolizing the pause that you are taking today to celebrate anything that's worth celebrating. Maybe you're celebrating your successes today. Or maybe you're celebrating your failures. Celebrating that you're not allowing those failures to hold you back. Or maybe you're celebrating just the simple fact that you are still navigating life and you're still here. If you're watching this and you're still within a global pandemic with all of us, that is something to be celebrated. You have navigated not only life, but you've also navigated life within something that collectively we don't often go through. What are you celebrating today? Allow your breath to begin to really slow back down. Focusing on those exhales to help slow down the heart. From here, you'll slide the hands to come underneath of the shoulders. To press yourself up away from the floor or away from those props. Sliding the props to one side and pressing yourself up, and we'll meet in seated with the legs in front of you. We're going to be exploring a few forward folds, so your folded up blanket might be a really helpful tool to bring your sit bones down onto that prop. So you're going to be finding yourself seated, turned towards the long edges of your yoga mat. So either the right or the left side, and bring yourself into a wide-legged shape with the feet. So the feet are nice and wide. And the reason that you're turning towards the side of your yoga mat is that then you've got cushioning underneath of your heels. So just make sure that this shape feels like a comfortable one for the backs of your knees and for your heels. So finding any sort of props that might be helpful for that. And you're seated on your folded up blanket or your cushion. Take an inhale to reach the fingertips up towards the sky. This is where we're going to flow and find a bit more movement. So very similar shapes to what we were doing at the beginning of the practice. Take one more inhale here. On the exhale, you're going to be tipping your heart towards the right leg. And then once you get there, you're crawling the hands across the floor over towards the left extended leg. And then bring yourself up, inhale. And exhale towards the other side. So you're creating these circles into the body here. Walking the hands across. Don't worry about how low you've come down. Inhale as you bring yourself up. A few more times just like that, exploring these circular movements. Lots of opportunities to create space here and to explore where you're holding some tightness or some tension in the legs or in the hips. The next time you bring yourself into the center of your space, pause there. If you've been practicing with me for a little while, you know by now, it doesn't matter what the pose looks like, it doesn't matter how far down or how high up you are in the shape, as long as you have found a stretch or you found sensation that feels good, feels like you're creating space, you're doing the pose perfectly. So as you come into the shape, I will ask you to take 3 of your deep breaths. Those same deep breaths that you found at the very beginning of the practice. Find 3 of those. Once you have taken those 3 deep breaths, you'll walk the hands in to bring yourself back up into your seated position. Bring the hands behind the knees for added support to bring the legs in. Take a second here to bring the knees in and hug your legs and allow the forehead to come down. Just giving yourself a nice big hug. Yay me. And then from here, you'll walk the legs in front of you, extending into those legs, finding a nice counter pose after a forward fold. So bringing the hands behind you and pressing into the palms of the hands to shine the heart up towards the sky. Pull those shoulders back. You can point into the toes or flex into the toes. And then releasing that shape. And then you'll bring yourself down onto your back. Once you bring yourself down onto your back, before we find any other shapes, any other movement, just allow yourself to settle into stillness for just a moment. Again, taking those moments in the practice to pause, to feel, to be here for whatever is present right now. From here, you'll take an inhale to reach the fingertips up overhead, finding a nice big body stretch. Stretching the fingers away from the toes. And then the exhale brings the knees in towards the chest. Hug those knees in nice and close. You can have the hands on either shins. You can wrap the legs up with the arms or the hands around the back of your thighs. And then from here, placing both hands onto the right shin or the back of the right thigh, placing the left sole of the foot down onto the floor. Take a second here to notice, would you like to keep that left leg bent, or would you like to extend into that left leg with the heel reaching towards the lower end of your space? One option is not better than the other. They're both just opportunities for you to explore. Every inhale, feeling your body expand towards that right thigh. And every exhale, you gently hug that right knee in towards you. And then from here, you'll be exploring a half happy baby pose. So first start with Opening the left arm out towards the side. If you're a tiny space, you can just cactus into that left arm. So right hand stays where it is on that right leg. Start by opening the right knee out towards the side, finding a stretch in the inner groin. You can stay here if you're enjoying that stretch, or to come into your half happy baby pose, you'll allow the arm to come on the inside of the right knee and then grabbing hold of the outer edge of your right foot. And again, the option here to bend into that leg, if it's not bent and you're like, oh, I think it would feel more comfortable to bend into my left leg, do that. Using that clasp of the right hand on the right foot to gently pull that right knee in towards you. And then slowly, you'll release that shape, extending into the legs, extending into the arms up overhead. Nice big body stretch here. And then the knees come back in towards the chest. Grabbing hold of the left knee, placing the sole of the right foot onto the floor or extending into that right leg. Hands are on the left shin or on the back of the left thigh. Take a few deep breaths here, exploring the stretch in the left hip, the left glute. And then from here, exploring your half happy baby pose. So first start by just opening the right arm out towards the side, cactusing into the arm if that is more accessible for the shape or for the space that you're in. Using the left hand to open the left knee out towards the side. Start with this shape here, and then you get to choose. Do you want to stay right here? Or would you like to come into the half happy baby pose by allowing the left arm to come into on the inside of the left knee and grabbing hold of the outer edge of your left foot. The sole of the left foot is shining up towards the sky as you pull that left knee in towards the armpit. Opportunity is still there to keep the right leg straight or bend into the right leg. Use your breath here to gently create space. And then take an inhale to release that shape. Arms up overhead, straighten into both of your legs. Knees come in towards the chest, hug them in. And then we'll come into full happy baby pose to end the practice today. So you open up into the knees. This is your first opportunity, your first option. So you can stay right here. This is a beautiful shape to create space in those hips. Or you can bring the arms on the inside of the knees. And then grab hold of the outer edges of your feet. Once you clasp the feet, you gently pull the knees in towards the armpits. And then you've got the opportunity to either stay still or find some movement, rocking from side to side. It can be really fun to just totally find movement, rocking from side to side, because then your knee comes down, you can just kind of pop yourself back into the center. Lots of playfulness in this shape. If you're finding that movement, please come back into stillness. Hug the knees in one last time. And then getting ready to come into your comfortable shape for your final relaxation, Shavasana. This is going to be a nice long Shavasana, which you don't always get when you explore these free YouTube classes. So this is a gift to you. Take up space on your mat here. Feet are wide, arms are wide. Palms are open towards the sky. Or really, you can take whatever shape is really comfortable for you. So it doesn't have to be on your back. You can come on your side. You can bring whatever props in here, a bolster underneath of the knees, your blocks underneath of your knees. If your low back is feeling sensitive and you don't have those props, you can bring a bend to the legs, the soles of the feet coming onto the mat, and then just knocking the knees in towards each other. The arms can be alongside the body or they can be up overhead. There really is no perfect or specific or required way for you to practice your final relaxation. The aim here is to really and truly come into a shape that feels, 1, comfortable, and 2, supported. In order for you to really and truly enjoy this time where there is no more doing. Nobody is asking you to do anything, to be anywhere, to accomplish anything. This is your time to shift from a state of doing to a state of being. Slowly, you'll bring the awareness back into the body. First, by starting to become aware once again of the rise and fall of the body as you inhale and as you exhale. Then bringing some movement into the fingers, into the toes, into the wrists and the ankles. The head rocks from side to side. Taking an inhale to stretch the arms up overhead, stretching from fingertips all the way down into the toes. And then your knees come in towards the chest. Hug those knees in nice and close. Rocking from side to side. To eventually make your way onto the right side of the body using your right arm as a pillow. Rest here on your side for just a moment here, really staying within that space and the energy that you've cultivated during your practice today. And then slowly pressing yourself up into your comfortable seat. Resting the hands wherever they rest comfortably, on the knees, on the lap, or in heart center. The eyelids are heavy so that you can really intentionally bring your practice to a close. Sensing into the shifts in your whole self, the effects of the practice on your whole self. Class really is your opportunity and your invitation to celebrate. Your yoga practice is absolutely an invitation to explore and bring these lessons off of your yoga mat. So I invite you to bring some celebration into your day-to-day. Maybe in the next few days, take an opportunity to celebrate something, anything. Celebrations don't have to be big and loud in order for them to be impactful. Bringing the hands into heart center. Press the palms together, press the thumbs in towards the heart. We'll take one last breath together, you and I, to close the practice. Inhale. Out the mouth, exhale. I honor you for committing to your practice and to your body, and thank you so very much for sharing that practice with me. May the lessons that you learn on the mat enrich your life off of the mat. From my heart to yours, namaste. Thank you so very much for joining me during this Yoga to Celebrate full body practice to celebrate the 1-year anniversary of this channel. It has been such a wonderful year, and I know that quite a few of you have been practicing along with me, so it's been so lovely seeing your comments in the videos, and I really and truly look forward to seeing how Yoga with Carolynne can grow within the next year. I will mention now that if you enjoyed today's practice, this is very much a taste of what you can enjoy if you practice with me in my live stream classes, and I just launched the summer schedule. So there are a few weekly classes for you to choose from. They start in the second week of July if you happen to be watching this as soon as it came out. And if you're not watching this as soon as it came out, then I would strongly encourage you to click on the link below regardless, because I am always offering new things. So I would love to practice with you, but otherwise, thank you again for joining me during today's practice, and I wish you a wonderful rest of your day. Until next time.